Welcome, dear friends, to Kardec Radio at 11 p.m., nourishing our souls with the spirit of truth. This book that was psychographed by two mediums, Waldo Vieira and Chico Xavier, and several spirits came through them to deliver more messages so we can deepen our understanding about the truth. And today, the spirit Hilario Silva, friends of André Luiz, as you can read in some of his books, he comes to teach us something quite interesting. Before we tell the story he wants to share with us, it's about chapter 9 that inspired him to bring the teachings of today. Chapter 9, blessed are the meek and peace loving. Item 7, patience. Of course, we know that a spirit friend explains to us how important it is to be patient. Be patient. Patience, too, is a form of charity, and you must practice the law of charity taught by Christ, the envoy of God. There's much more to that excerpt, item 7 of the Gospel according to Spiritism. Before we begin, are we patient? I don't think we are, because we want everything like run in a snap, right? We have plans, and now we want everything to happen overnight. We even see our children falling trapped to this instant gratification when they have to work on something that is going to take a while. They give up because they want something that gives them an outcome more instantaneous. So, how do we change the scenario? Well, pain is a good way to teach us to be patient because you can't do much but to wait for the course of the recovery, right? And today, Hilario Silva is going to talk about the party. It's a funny story, but has a teaching for us. Hilario says that there was a middle-aged man. His name was Frederico Manuel de Ávila. He was a businessman and a spiritist for 30 years, seeking to guide the existence by the renewing gospel. But he was always impatient. He rarely stopped to examine a bigger problem. Impatient, precipitated, feverish. Several times he was admonished to slow down his own life. Friends advised him, spirits warned him as well. Everything was useless. One day, he was at the office for longer than normal hours, and then he returned home. It was almost evening, and he was always in a rush. With the key at hand, he opened the door and entered. He was passing by a long hall to reach the rooms when he noticed the figure of somebody walking towards him in a hurry in the dark. Surprised and frightened by the strange figure, assuming he was before a thief, he went back on his own steps in an open race. But on the run, he stumbled over a garden bed and falls, yelling and resounding. The screams attracted neighbors in a hurry who found him unconscious. He was taken to the nearby hospital. Frederico had broken a leg. Later, he returned home with his leg in a cast. In the privacy of his family, he was compelled to remember that it was his birthday, and everything was clarified. As if he were working late, the relatives wanted to surprise him at work, and there was a mismatch. His wife and his children welcomed him cheerfully at that party, changing the layout of the furniture inside the house. And only then did Frederico realize that the figure which had frightened him was himself reflected in the large mirror on the dining room that had its position changed. What a story! You know, the good spirits, especially in a book like this, they wouldn't spend time telling us stories out of entertainment, right? As you and I know, when the spirits write, they are writing to console, they are writing to help. So, how much is this consoling to us? Much. How many of us are always in a rush, always hurry, and we barely pay attention to the subtle movements of life, and when we do, we are always as if running away from somebody who is threatening us. The lesson today is about patience. How can we practice patience, right? Well, blessed are the meek and the peacemakers. Why is that very lesson in that chapter? Well, because we won't be meek if we're not patient, and we can't be patient without being meek. They are so correlated. We need to humble ourselves before the designs of God. This man was a spiritist for quite some time, but he was always advised on being slowing down, on being more patient, and he never listened. At the end of the day, it was his birthday and he broke a leg because he was always in a rush. How many things do we miss because we are always impatient? Many, right? Look at the pandemic. We are here, and sometimes people lose patience that they have to stay at home and they take risks and then they get sick. It is true because we were not patient enough, because we were not calm enough. So the message that Hilario Silva brings to us comes from on high because it talks about all of us who are constantly driven to the next thing and we're not in the present. So, a good way to practice patience is mindfulness, and for mindfulness, breathing in the moment, as Dr. Herbert Benson teaches us. We need to practice this relaxation breathing, breathing in, holding it, breathing out. And that's a way for us to bring ourselves to the present moment in the physical body, which we call mindfulness. And that makes a huge difference in our physiology, in our health. So breathing very deeply and out very slowly, and thus being mindful, because those who are mindful have more, they are more likely to be patient because they are enjoying the present moment. How can we enjoy a present moment when we are sick? Well, think it could be worse. And second, we need to pray for others who are in greater need than us. So, as Emmanuel said in the book Renúncia, Renunciation, Padre Damiano explains that there is great virtue when somebody is sick and is patient and obedient to God. So, for all of us who are here, let us form a current of patience. In the next 24 hours, let us tell ourselves, I am patient, I am mindful, I am patiently mindful, and thus repeating the relaxation breathing. This is going to be our exercise for the next 24 hours. We hope that Hilario Silva's story can inspire us to be more meek, more patient, and ever more mindful with God in our hearts. Thank you so much, friends, for being with us at Cardiac Radio. Once again, we wish you many blessings, and until tomorrow, God willing.